Oh man, they did put the picture there. I was hoping they'd forget. That's what I look like if you couldn't tell. We went too far. So I'm with Ceramic. We're gonna do a little bit of talking today about using data composition for a better web. I'll make it quick because you guys have been here all day and half of you probably need that drink that you're waiting on. So we're just gonna get in and out on this. So my name is Matthew. I'm the developer advocate over at the Ceramic Network. We build composable data for Web3. So let's chat. The team over here at Ceramic's been doing this for a real long time. They've been together since 2016. That's when our founders got together over at Consensus a long time ago. And this entire database layer of Web3 kind of spun out of that. We've shipped a ton of leading Web3 developer products since becoming an organization. Most notably, our newest ships are DID Session and ComposeDB. Our engineering team is phenomenal. They put together this really great set of libraries to help us use DIDs to manage write permissions on data and sovereignty over data, as well as an entire new layer on how a decentralized application can interface with a node that takes care of all the writing down to chain as this data changes. So let me tell you a little story and we'll walk you through the problem we're trying to solve. We've all probably been in this situation. Who here has a Facebook account? Don't lie. There's like 2 of you. Yeah. What about Twitter? Yeah, Instagram. You know what sucked about that whole process? You went through this 3 different times. You filled out your username, you filled out your telephone number, you filled out your email, you got into the application, and then you went and found all your friends. Who added their mom? Yeah, liars, okay? You gotta go find your parents, right? You gotta find your friends, all right? Who's stalking their ex? Still liars. Right, but you had to do that every single time, and that's ridiculous. What if there was a world where you could stalk your ex in one location and she followed you everywhere, huh? That's better, right? Please don't stalk your exes using Ceramic. We don't really condone that, right? What's extra worse about all of that, not only did you do it 3, 4, 5 times for every social app you have, but you have no agency over that. Do you think any of those applications kept your data safe? No, I don't think any of us think that, right? But all of that data gets stored on their servers, on their databases. It goes through their API layer, which means we inherently have to trust them to give us the proper view when we want to see that data again. Ceramic tackles all of this. And it does so because today's leading applications are choosing solutions that provide sovereignty, specifically when it comes to a user's data. So what is Ceramic? Has anybody heard of it? Excellent, a few of you. Those of you that haven't, we can sum it up in one sentence. We're a decentralized network for composable data. Now that's one really loaded sentence. There's a whole lot we could unpack there, but again, I'm trying to get you guys over to your drinks. So we're gonna just cover 3 key components, and I'm sorry if this is a little hard to read. From an infrastructure point of view, Ceramic isn't just an application's data. It is a completely distributed database layer where independent node operators are responsible for letting this data exist in more than one location. Because of these nodes, with Ceramic, we can scale horizontally really easily. If we need more compute power for that, we just add another node. If your application needs more, you can add another node. If you're running a second application that has its own unique data needs, run another node. It's quite simple. These nodes give us the ability to scale, and they give us the ability to have availability for all the DApps that are dependent on that data. Ceramic nodes also are responsible for providing the validity of the data that exists inside of Web3. They're what checks all the proofs of the metadata to make sure data is what it's supposed to be by the time it gets returned back to a user or an application. The second layer to that is ComposeDB. This is a brand new ship for us, and it is absolutely phenomenal. This gives developers the ability to use common development practices they know and love, namely GraphQL schemas for their data. But everything they do with ComposeDB interfaces down to that Ceramic node. That's how your application can communicate down to that bottom layer. Lastly, the highest level is data composites, and this is what your user interacts with. This is how we can say, hey, your name, your phone number, all that stuff you want to hide from everybody, your friends list, whatever it might be, you can attach that to your decentralized identifier, which could be a wallet, right, if you want it to be. And every application you log into, regardless of who created it, if they use this common data composite, can read all of that data globally, and you never have to fill that information out again. And on top of that, the best part, you own it. That's your data. And this ushers in a brand new era of open source information for us. We can now de-silo the data. It no longer is tied to Facebook's server or application A's database, right? It comes with us because it's tied to the user. On top of that, we're asking application developers and users of that data to also participate in managing and keeping that data alive by running nodes and taking part in the network. We're sharing the responsibility for everything across our entire application stack. My favorite part, and probably the most important piece of this is the whole reason I joined the Ceramic team, is any data I create using this tech stack is mine and mine alone. It comes with me where I want it to go. I can change it, and I'm the only one that can change it. And I know for a fact that the view that I'm getting of that data is accurate. We have complete and total agency over our data by incorporating Ceramic. It was really important to the team that the network was built with these qualities in mind. First, it needed to be scalable. We do this from like a local first design. Every time there's like a data query on the network, we always look at a local node first, the node that is most tightly coupled with the application. We say, hey, do you have this here? And if it doesn't, then we have a process to go ahead and get that information. However, the advantage to this is you're not constrained by some global consensus. We don't have to wait on everybody to agree that the data is what it is prior to returning it. So we've built this with local first design in mind. And again, if you need more, add another node, right? The second thing is it had to be mutable, right? If I want to change my name or if I want to add a friend, I need to be able to do that. But at the same time, in order to prove that that data's state is accurate, I needed some sort of read-only history, right? So we needed to make sure that all interactions on Ceramic were mutable. Data's kind of worthless if it doesn't change to some degree. It's flexible. As I said, we've just rolled out new things to allow you to use the tools that you know and love, namely GraphQL. Right? And it becomes that single unified interface for accessing that Ceramic node that's running on the bottom layer there. And it's interoperable. All you need is a decentralized identifier. You can use one of any of the methods out there for DIDs that exist, and that can control the data that ends up on Ceramic. Another great thing is we're blockchain agnostic. If you want to plug in different EVM chains, that's possible too. We mostly build on Ethereum today, but support for more chains is coming quicker than anything else that we're working on as well. We ship stuff really fast, which is awesome. So really, we're aiming to solve some standard problems that exist inside of Web3 and Web2, to be honest with you. But if we had to go back to that initial statement of Ceramic being a decentralized network for composable data, we can break it down into this. By using Ceramic, you're going to get dynamic content that is built based off of flexible data models that your developers decide. All that data is controlled by a decentralized identifier. That's who owns the data. That's the controller of the data. And all of that data lives on a decentralized peer-to-peer network. So what do you really gain? Well, maybe you're a member of a DAO. And if that's the case, there's a ton of different things that you can store on Ceramic's network that make sense. First, maybe your proposals. Maybe you want to store your proposals in a way that you can verify they're owned by whatever system you need it to be owned by. Votes can be stored. Any type of user-related data or like participation types of data that maybe you want to track across your DAO can be stored now, and it doesn't need to be stored locally on your own app-specific database, right? Ceramic plugs in for that. Ceramic allows you to extend NFT collections, right? There's a couple projects building on Ceramic right now that are focused on using NFT metadata to prove that reviews for certain products are accurate. It doesn't make sense for you to review this microphone if you've never owned this microphone. So they're using NFTs to do that, but the reviews themselves are being stored down on the ceramic side. There's a lot of projects that are experimenting with metadata management as well, storing some of the non-NFT specific stuff that exists on the ceramic network. With ceramic, you can take DeFi and turn it into full stack finance. Any type of thing that you might have, watch lists, address books, things that maybe you want to have follow you from app A to app B, they store really well on ceramic. And they're going to be incredibly portable for you. And then you only have to configure them one time. Imagine all the tokens you pay attention to. If you could fill out that watch list one time and one time only and take it with you to every single app, ceramic allows that to happen. The most common question we get is who's building, right? Well, currently, some of your favorites exist on ceramic. Metagame exists. Gitcoin built their passport solution with ceramic as a backend. They're not the only ones. DAO House is in there. There's a bunch of other projects that exist. Orbis, you've probably heard of them. They build on ceramic as well. What's really cool is we have a couple up-and-coming projects that are building on ceramic. We have one called Brandon Nate. That's the project that is using NFTs to prove reviews, and they're storing all sorts of brand data on ceramic. We have Carbon Title, who are focused on carbon offset and other information in that realm, and they're doing things with buildings and how building data can correlate to ceramic streams. So it's pretty cut and dry and straightforward. We're all about building portable, composable data so that users or owners of that data only have to fill this information out one time, and they own it, they have agency over it. So although it's not its own blockchain and it's not bare metal infrastructure, it is definitely middleware glue that allows your front-end developers to interact down to the blockchain and have verifiable data that exists, but yet is controlled by a user or an owner, such as like a DID. If you want to know more, join us on Discord, okay? You can scan this, join our Discord. That's where our engineers are. I'm telling you, they're probably the best engineers in the business, and I have to say that or else they haze me. Here's some more useful resources. Like everybody else, we're hiring too. I would tell you we're hiring for a DevOps engineer, but I don't actually know that information. I just think it'd be really funny to piggyback on that right now. So yeah, if you're a DevOps engineer, scan the QR code, come join us. There's one thing I want to point out here. If you try to get to our docs site and you go to our old docs site, which is like developers.ceramic.network, you're going to come across an older version of docs that exists. So if you want to know what's going on today, please use these updated docs. That's where all the fun new changes exist for ceramic. With that being said, I'm not going to hold you up with questions, but what I am going to tell you is I'll hang out here for a little bit while you guys all get way too inebriated, and I'll answer your questions when we're in a state that we can't understand them. All right? That way I can kind of CYA a little bit and get away with a fast one. All right? So thank you for your time. We hope to see you build on ceramic soon. Thank you.